Good day to you all. Today's lecture is quite interesting. Well, first, before I get to talk about the subject, for the influence of Arab music on the West or on Western classical culture, I'd like to talk about a couple of things regarding the assignments. There will be no merging for anything. There was no merging this last time, and of course, I have not read everything. Have not yet done everything that needs to be done for regarding the grading everything. But I'm gonna work on that in the next couple of days and get back to you on that. You'll have your grades sometime in by Wednesday, I'd say. Um, for the final project. Now the final project is something, and I picked it specifically for this course, so because it's an interesting factor that not many people really got to discuss that. And if you think about it, Arab music or Arabs in general had a lot of effect and a lot of influence also on Western classical culture, not only because or since the time of Andalusia, excuse me, not even just since the time of Andalusia and Arabs occupying Spain for nearly 500, 400 years. But also because that had an effect also, yes, but still did not really have that direct effect on, on music. When you think about instruments, yes, of course, we have all these instruments that actually made the way, travel all the way to Spain, from Spain all across Europe, and that's why you see a lot of resemblance and a lot of similarities in the modern Western classical instruments, and of course our own traditional or our own instruments that we've known for hundreds of years. But also we have a lot of factors that took place sometimes during the 1700s and 1800s, and of course we have a lot that has a lot to do with the Ottoman Empire and how the Turks actually occupied a vast amount of land, and that was another effect that had a lot of influence on music. If you think about the compositions, I mean, the first composition that composition, by the way, means a musical work. I mean, composition could be an opera, could be a symphony, could be anything, but just a musical. I mean, a piece of music is considered a composition. I'm just saying that because I've got a couple of questions regarding what is a composition. So, with that in mind, if you come to think about the piece that everybody knows, it would be Shahrazad, for instance, and that's the composition by Rimsky-Korsakov. That's a romantic composer, late romantic composer. But even before that, if you think about it, or if you get to look and see or read, and that's what I hope you guys get to do. It should be an interesting, subject for you to cover. You'd see that there are compositions that were influenced by Arabs ever since the Renaissance, even. So Renaissance or Baroque, and you have Gluck for that. You have composers like Mozart, Beethoven, the classical era. You have Rossini. You have Schubert. You got Korsakov, like I mentioned. Saint-Saëns, that's another French composer who's known to write even a composition or a piano concerto. It's called the Egyptian Concerto. So we have a lot of compositions in those different eras in Western classical culture that actually shows an influence of Arab music. The reason I picked that subject, just so you'd understand, is because the fact that we have a lot of similarities in concept. So, for instance, Arab music is made out of maqams, or the maqam is also like a type of a mode, and Western classical culture has two modes, major and minor scale, which we call scales, major and minor scales. So you have major scales and minor scales, and we have 7 notes and 7 notes. So it's really easy to apply that mindset of a mode on a major or a minor tonality. Another factor is that the fact that we have a lot of intervals within the scales that give that Arab feel. So, like gives that specifically like the Hagaz or the Saba or any of those maqamat, and that's one thing. Another thing is the fact that there has been a lot of interest by composers, specifically in the Romantic era, and that's, I mean, that's where you get to really see that there's been a lot of interest by composers in the, towards the culture and in music to be specific, and another thing that we have here that shows the kind of like, the the um, the reverse influence. We have an opera house that was built in in 1869, if I'm not mistaken, and that's the old opera house, and that's just to show that we have a lot of interest as well in Western classical culture. It's a lot easier for us to digest or comprehend classical works than other cultures. Another thing that might be interested into looking at and to see that we have the Conference for Arabic Music, and there is one that was held in 1934, sometimes in the beginning of the 20th century, and that's just to document and to have a lot of, conference, or that's the conference, and have a lot of different research regarding music, traditional music, or traditional music of different countries from the Arab world. And with that, we have a lot of composers that actually attended those conferences, or this conference to be exact. One of which is Bela Bartok. Bela Bartok is a Hungarian 20th century composer, and he also attended this, and that influenced many of the works that he's written. So there has been a lot of influence going on ever since, for the past, say, 200 or 300 years. It should be, there should be a lot of resources that could come handy to you. And I actually recommend listening to a few pieces. Listen to the Egyptian Concerto, listen to Shahrazad, listen to, try to listen to the Mozart opera, Escape from the Sarai, if I'm not mistaken, that's the title. And there are Turkish marshes, and there are lots of those compositions. There are Marsh a la Turk, that's by Mozart as well. Those are compositions that you could actually, I would like for you to listen to it and tell me what you think. I mean, does it have an Arabic or an Egyptian feel, or something that you could kind of relate to? You feel like you could taste it even, or digest it even easier, or not? But the thing about this project is that you need to collect different information, or various information, and put that into words, and basically try to trace that with the works that you get to listen to. So if there are works you get to listen to, then you can actually, it makes things a lot easier for you to understand, and then that would probably spark ideas for you to have your sort of argument and conclusion. Okay, tomorrow we're going to have another recorded video or lecture, and Wednesday and Thursday we'll work on having the Zoom meetings, like we said we'd do, and would like for you to be ready with any questions or things that you would like to discuss, and just kind of participate, gain some of your participation points. Those that have not been participating at all, or went to the minimum, please make sure that you do that, because I have 10% that is yours. You have until the end of this week to claim it. If not, then you're not gonna get it. Okay, guys. Another thing I would like to, I'll be more than happy if you have anything for me to read, and I could read and get back to you with with any suggestions or any things that you need to modify in your search. But that cannot be, will I be able to do that up until Thursday? After that, I'm not sure I'll be available for that. So I hope you find this topic interesting, and I hope you find this course interesting, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.